Do you bite your thumb at us, sir? Is the law of our side if I say I? No. No, sir.
While Shakespeare was writing specifically to his time, I think there's so much in his words that are still understood today. In my mind, there are no better people on earth to perform Shakespeare than teenagers, because they live their lives and are experiencing life at the same heights that Shakespeare is writing about it in his language.
Shakespearean English was actually a great deal closer to Appalachian dialects than it's a really gutsy language, and so
part of what we do at Raleigh Little Theatre is engaging young people in arts experiences that are going to prepare them for whatever they want to do in life. And so they're really learning communication skills, collaboration skills, self-expression, creativity, problem solving, and that's going to help them whether they want to pursue a career in theater or something completely different.
I think the biggest trick to working with students in Shakespeare is giving students permission to dig into the messy work of Shakespeare. How do we let it be imperfect? How do we let it be about people who don't know how to fit into the world, and so they're mucking their way through it and they're trying to figure it out. And so they have to be willing to jump in and engage in a very deeply heartfelt, vulnerable way for Shakespeare to really work.
Rebellious subjects, enemies of the peace.
It's a really dynamic and powerful place once you get into it, but because we are so unpracticed with that, that's the biggest challenge to even start.
This week we're doing the first opening scene of Romeo and Juliet, and we're also doing stage combat, which I've never done before, but it's really fun. I really like it.
For my class, what I do to help them engage in the language is to really find the impulse that drives this character. These types of emotions that people feel, these love, anger, betrayal, longing, jealousy, these are not new emotions. The importance is to keep finding new voices that can tell these stories.
Put up thy sword or manage it to part these men with me.
I've never really become interested in Shakespeare until my 9th grade English class. My teacher was amazing. She was the first one who introduced me to Romeo and Juliet, and a book that before I probably wouldn't have found that interesting was amazing to me, and I loved it.
My first experience performing Shakespeare, I was a freshman in college, and I was doing Henry V, and I was the Archbishop of Canterbury, so I had to memorize the 2-page monologue at the beginning of the show, and after learning that 2-page monologue, I felt like I could do anything.
My first time with Shakespeare was, I was in 4th grade, and there was a Shakespeare elective, and we did Hamlet, and I just loved it, all the sword fights and everything. I was in love.
I also fell in love with stage combat while I was in school, and that was also an opportunity to get involved with Shakespeare because there was all these beautiful battle sequences and, these characters in extreme emotional distress, and they've run out of words to say, and now they just have to fight their way through these emotional states. From that point forward, I knew I had to be involved in some way, shape, or form.
I'm gonna bring both of you back down just a little bit, all right? And keep going from where you left off.
Diversity is a really important part of theater in all forms, and especially now where we have a lot of voices, really calling out the need to see more body types, people with different backgrounds, people with different abilities, all of what makes humanity so bright and vibrant. We want to see that reflected on stage and on screen. Being able to see someone who is like you, who is strong and powerful and vulnerable and complex and misguided, these make us feel like I am worthy and valuable and strong and wonderful too. And for my students, I want to make sure they feel that in all elements. And so I want to push them to try new things, to take risks, and to be proud of who they are and what they can do.
This is all you. This is your choreography. You made up some of your own choreography, and it looks fantastic.
Once you get past the language and you understand what you're doing, you can have a lot of fun with Shakespeare.
People still experience such a wide variety of emotions and feelings that he's writing about, and he's putting those directly in the words, and then the words just fly out of the actors and the audience understands what they're feeling as well. And so it kind of connects everybody to each other.
No,
sir, I do not bite my thumb at you, sir.
I think that a big part of understanding society today is understanding what things were like back in the past. And it'll help us understand how we interact with other people today and what the differences between then and now are.
Shakespeare is one of those things that, even though it's from a long time ago, it still speaks true to what people are like today. And I think that it teaches you about people, the way that they act and think.
The only way Shakespeare is useful is if we keep coming back to what are those fundamental human drives that we have, and that those experiences are universal. And this is the way I'm going to learn more about myself and about how I interact with the world and why I'm here and how I matter.
Excellent, excellent. Great job, everyone.